Hey, Courtney Spaeth here with the Goalpreneur podcast. So real quick, if you've heard a few of my other podcast episodes, you're like, what the heck? This one is completely different. Yeah, it is. Okay, so I stopped doing the typical intro music, the introduction, like every single podcast does it. And I thought I had to follow suit. Well, you know what? I'm breaking that cycle. I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to be doing that. So I don't want to waste your time with the ramblings before the podcast actually gets started. I like to be a little rebellious in that way. So when you are listening to the Goalpreneur podcast, I'm going to say, hey, welcome to the Goalpreneur podcast. I'm Courtney Spaeth. Today we're talking about blah, blah, blah. And that's exactly what we're going to jump into. So I'm going to skip all the fluff in the beginning because I don't want to do that anyway. So let's just dive right in. So I want to talk to you about something that's super humbling, hilarious, frustrating, but it was such a beautiful moment for me because it validated that I am completely capable of doing this. So I want to talk to you about when you launch your first course and maybe nobody buys or just one person. So I launched in 2024 and I made 97 stinking dollars. Okay, that was me. Only one person bought, $97. It was a 6-week course and I had absolutely no freaking clue what I was doing. Yep. I did it before I was ready, and maybe that's why I'm a little bit paranoid to relaunch now, even though I do know what I'm doing. I just need to get that ickiness from last year completely out of my mind. But okay, so let's get into it. I had a big, exciting idea for a course. Like I was really fired up. I was super excited. I was ready to serve. I'm 100% fully in it. But like I said, I had no clue what I was doing. And today I want to take you behind the scenes, not to glamorize it, but to tell you like what really happened and what I was thinking at the time. So I'm going to talk about what I messed up on, what I learned, and why it was exactly what I needed. So if you're in the messy middle of launching or you're avoiding a launch because you're scared it won't go perfectly, this episode is going to be your sign to keep going anyway. Yeah, I did it completely wrong. I did it scared. Did it without knowing what I was doing. I ran ads, not knowing how to run Facebook ads, but did it anyway. So I look at it as lessons learned. It was an experiment. I learned what not to do, areas that needed to be improved so I could do it better going forward. And yeah, it made me a little gun shy at first because I only had one person buy. And I'm like, ooh, what if now that I do know what I'm doing, like still what if nobody buys or only one person buys? That's okay. That's all right. I proved to myself last year, knowing absolute bare minimum, like, okay, it's probably a little in the negative, the red of my knowledge, but I did something right because one person bought, and that's all I needed to know that I can do this and I'm capable. So here's how it went down. I had this big idea for a course. It was amazing. It made sense to me. It felt aligned. I was excited about it. Like I opened up Google Doc and I just started typing and building it from a place of pure passion. And was there a framework? Nope. Didn't even know about framework. Okay. I didn't even know how to validate my idea. I was legit winging it from all the feel good vibes because in my mind, I'm like, ooh, I'm so on fire for this idea. It's exactly what people need to hear because it helped me. And I'm like, I need to get this out into the world. Like people need to know about this. So, yeah, I was winging it with all the feel good vibes. Sometimes it's how you learn, okay? When you fail at something, you're not really failing. You're just learning what not to do, but it's how you learn, okay? So one of the biggest things was I just didn't really know. I thought I knew my target audience, my target customer, I really, like, I'm confident that I knew who I was talking to at that time. But did I really? No. Okay. This would have gone a lot differently had I known exactly who my ideal buyer was. So that's just a random thought, but it's something that I feel needs to be talked about. So I led from a place of, this is super helpful. People are going to love it. And I ran an ad. Okay. I put the cart before the horse. I got way too ahead of myself. I got a ton of leads though, but they were not quality leads. Okay. Got a lot of visibility on my, my website and my lead magnet, which I look back now and it just gives me goosebumps. Like I cringe at it because how bad it was, but not the point. Okay. We all have to start from someplace. And I was starting from a place of 0. And so, okay, I did not have the right leads. I didn't even know how to speak to them properly. But I still went for it. I'm like, nope, I'm going to run ads. Like looking back now, I thought I knew what I was doing. I honestly did. But looking back now, I'm like, I was doing this as an experiment. I wanted to see what would happen if I just put my stuff out there. So I have learned to look at things a lot differently, a different scope. So like I said, I ran the ads. One person bought, and I was charging $97 for a 6-week course. Did I have the course put together? No, I was doing it as I went along. So, there is good and bad to doing that, but that's for another episode. So one person bought $97. To me, that was like a huge win. Like I teared up. I'm like, okay, I can do this. And you don't know what you don't know. I thought I knew what I was doing, sort of, but I had absolutely no clue. It was like I had blinders on trying to walk in the dark. Okay. It was a very small number to a lot of people, $97, not a huge chunk of change, but in that moment, it felt like a huge thing for me because I proved that I could create something and sell it, even if I mucked it up. Okay. I did not say the F word. It was the ucked up word with the M. So mucked up. Yes, I say that. But I want to talk to you about the lessons that I learned because I think that they're really, really important. So here's what I learned from the experience. Lesson number 1, your course can be amazing, but if you're not talking to the right person, it's not going to sell. It doesn't matter like how much value you put into it, how long you've worked on it, your price tag, like that is completely irrelevant if it's landing on deaf ears. Okay. It's like standing at the top of a mountain shouting out and nobody's going to hear you, okay? So I had the passion. I didn't have clarity on who I was trying to help. I thought I did, but looking back, I was absolutely clueless. My messaging was off. My targeting for my ad was completely off. And my content, it just didn't land, okay? So it's not a failure, it's feedback. I got feedback from all of that. So let me recap on that one. So I had no idea who I was talking to. Like I didn't know who my ideal buyer was. Lesson 2 was building the foundation before you run the ads. So I did that backwards. I ran ads before I had the foundation, and I didn't even run ads properly. So I set a specific amount per day for a certain time frame, certain time period. I think it was maybe like 2 weeks. I think it was 2 weeks. And it was a certain amount of money each day that I was going to be spending. And I had my demographics. But that's super surface level. And so my leads were hitting people, but they were not the right type of buyers. And it was such a cold audience. They didn't even want what I had. Okay. So I was speaking to really nobody, but I had something done. I created the first part of my course. So done is better than perfect. And action, it's going to bring clarity. That's lesson 3. If I waited until I knew everything, it still would never have launched, because you cannot ever learn every single thing that there is about your industry, because the industry is always changing. There's always something new to learn. So if you're sitting there listening and you're like, well, I got to wait for this, I got to wait for that. No, you don't. Just start. Get something put down on paper or on a Google Doc. Add a checkout link, a pay button, and boom, there you go. So action brings clarity. Done is better than perfect. Lesson 4, you don't need a huge launch to be legitimate. So in my email list, I think I had a little less than 1,000 people. And on my social media, it was only a couple hundred people. But I was showing up. I did lives. And at the time, I'm still not comfortable totally being on camera and doing lives or videos, but I showed up anyway. I was freaked out. I still showed up. I did it scared. And the feedback that I got was, I needed to hear this message. That's what made me buy. So even if you think that you look completely dumb or stupid on videos, that's all right. Your people are going to appreciate your effort and what you have to say, the value that you're offering. So to me, that was like, okay, yeah, I had a lot of self-doubt. I felt like I was judging myself because I didn't look super polished or I had shifty eyes, whatever. But I put myself out there, and the feedback that I got was, I needed this. That's what made me buy. Okay. That was amazing. So that was validation right there of keep doing this. You're doing something right. You need to be present. People need to see your face. They need to hear your voice. You need to be present. So that has been something that I've really been intentional about since then. And I do think it has helped a lot. So, okay, quick recap on the lessons. Your course can be amazing, and you could have a fabulous ticket price attached. But if you're not talking to the right person, it is not going to sell. So key thing, you need to know exactly who your ideal buyer is. So if you're stuck on that, if you're kind of wondering, well, do I have my ideal audience down or don't I? I created something. It's normally $27. You send me an email at hello@CourtneySpaeth.com or find me on Instagram. It's I am Courtney Spaeth. Find me and send me a DM with the word code. I'm going to send it to you absolutely free. Again, normally it's $27, but it's 38. I think it's 38 pages filled to the brim of how to exactly identify your ideal person. Okay. That was something that shifted for me years ago, and it really changed how I did business. I loved my job again. And at the time, I was a full service salon and skincare studio owner. And for a couple of years before I found out who my ideal audience was, I hated my job. I wanted to toss in the towel, but I was almost $100,000 in debt and I could not give up. I just had to keep moving forward and I had to keep figuring it out. Over time, after identifying exactly who I wanted in my salon and in my treatment rooms, you know what? I started getting all of those ideal people, and they didn't bat an eyelash at the prices that I was charging. So I worked very part-time and I worked around my kids' schedules. And I was able to have a super successful, thriving 6-figure business. It was absolutely amazing. So comment the word code, send me an email with the word code in the subject line. That's all you need to do. Don't need to put anything in the email itself, but subject line, just send me the word code. I'm going to send it to you absolutely free because I believe in this 1000%. It's what changed my business back then. I know it's going to make a huge shift in your business now. So lesson 2, build the foundation before you run ads, okay? Warm your audience up, warm your people up, build that connection, and then scale, okay? Then run those ads. I will say, as a side note, if you have a lead magnet and you have a very small audience, You need to know how to run ads properly. Okay, that's number one. But number two, run an ad for your lead magnet. There is absolutely no shame in doing that. It is what I'm doing, and it is so helpful at finding the right people. Actually, the right people come to you. And make sure that you have a superb lead magnet, okay? Not just something that people can Google for free or go on YouTube and look up for free on how to do whatever your lead magnet is about. Make sure it's super juicy, super sexy, and provides a ton of value. Okay, so lesson 3, done is better than perfect. Action brings clarity. So again, you're not going to wait until you're done or you're ready, because you're never, ever, ever going to feel 100% ready. And there's always going to be something new to learn. So just get it done, get it out into the world. And then again, you don't need a huge launch to be legit, and you don't need to have a huge audience to be legit. Okay. All right. My gosh, I feel like I'm getting winded. I need to breathe more. So, all right. If you're listening to this and thinking, what if I launch and nobody buys? Or maybe you've already launched and it just completely flopped. Now what? Okay. I want you to know that you're not behind. You're not doing it wrong. You just need to shift. You need to pivot in how you're doing it. And I want you to know that all of this is not a failure. You're learning in real time. And that is the best teacher. Okay. So learn in real time, learn from your mistakes, learn from your failures, because that is feedback. This is all an experiment. Nothing is ever set in stone with business. Things are always going to be changing and evolving over time. So go with the flow. All right. Don't let one slow start shake your belief. If nobody buys, okay, that's all right. You learned what you need to shift. Okay. You learned what needs to be tweaked. And if there's only one person that bought, hello, you sold something, and there's going to be more people like that person that are going to find you, find value in what you're doing, and buy from you. So even though it may be one sale here and there, hey, that's one sale that you didn't have before. You're still 10 steps ahead of the person who's too afraid to launch at all, okay? So I took everything that I learned from that $97 launch. It was completely messy, a lot of what not to do moments, and better ways to approach it. Okay. I put it into a absolutely amazing course. It is not yet launched. Okay. So keep an eye on my social media. On Instagram, I am Courtney Spaeth, and on Facebook, it's I am Courtney Spaeth. So keep an eye on my social media for updates. And I'm excited to bring that to you, because if you're stumbling and you want to do it right and you want to stay out of the pitfalls and the trenches and not repeat the same mistakes that I made, then come along on this journey with me, because I want you to know it's going to be messy. You're going to learn loud. You're going to want to keep going. You're going to create that momentum, that excitement. And one thing, it's going to lead right into the next. So we're going to do it messy. We're going to start small. I'm going to teach you every single thing. And I'm going to take you through all of it, from identifying what your product is. If you don't even have a product, like, I'll help you with that. So we'll get your product identified. We'll work on your target audience. We're going to work on so many things and work on launching as well. So it's going from point A to point B, your end goal, in as few steps as possible. And we're going to make it super, super successful. So, all right, my friend, thanks for listening to this episode of the Goalpreneur podcast. If you liked it, make sure to comment, do something, and then subscribe so you don't miss another episode, and I will talk to you again soon. All right, bye for now.